Hey guys, it's me Wall, and welcome back to my playthrough of Didactic Jesus game. We are now in session 4 and let's get into it. Oh, where is the school? Oh, not this one. Guys, man, I feel so discouraged. I had to start over again. Or skip to session 4. Because I realized I wasn't recording and I just saved over my old saves. When I should have just started new ones. I don't know. I'm going to continue this playthrough. I'm going to see how much I can get done here. Having started fresh and lost all items. So I just don't know how far I'm gonna make it. You have to try to arrive on time. Yesterday we learned about the first miracles of Jesus. In Cana, Capernaum, Gerasa. Today, Jesus wants to teach you the way to happiness, the Beatitudes. Let's start session 4. After this, Jesus went to Jerusalem for a religious festival. Near the sheep gate in Jerusalem, there is a pool with 5 porches. In Hebrew, it is called Bethsaida. Bethsaida. Wait, is it over here? A man who was there who had been sick for 38 years. Jesus saw him lying there, and he knew that the man had been sick for such a long time. Do you want to get well? Sir, I don't have any more. Sir, I don't have anyone here to put me in the pool when the water is stirred up. While I'm trying to get in, someone else gets there first. Get up, pick up your mat and walk. Immediately the man got well. He picked up his mat and started walking. Yeah. The day this happened was a Sabbath, so the Jewish authorities told the man who had been healed, "This is a Sabbath, and it is against our law for you to carry your mat." The man who made me well told me to pick up my mat and walk. Who is the man who told you to do this? But the man who had been healed did not know who Jesus was, for there was a crowd in that place, and Jesus had slipped away. Afterward, Jesus found him in the temple. Go to the temple and talk to the healed. Listen, you are well now, so stop sinning or something worse may happen to you. Then the man left and told the Jewish authorities that it was Jesus who had healed him. So they began to persecute Jesus because he had done this healing on a Sabbath. Takes a while here. Jesus answered them, "My Father is always working, and I too must work." This saying made the Jewish authorities all the more determined to kill him. Not only had he broken the Sabbath law, but he had said that God was his own Father, and in this way he had made himself equal with God. Now fight! Run away from the Jews until the time is up without leaving the temple. Run away. Then Jesus returned to Galilee, passing by the way north of the sheep gate. Go to the road between Jerusalem and Samaria. You will find a Pharisee spying on you. Right here's a door, even though you can't really see it. Keep out of the way. Come on. Thank you. Jesus was walking through some wheat fields on the Sabbath. As his disciples walked along with him, they began to pick the heads of wheat. Pick some heads of wheat. Will I even be able to? Since I don't have... Oh, I can. Alright. Like all the ones that I can. As much as I can. Chest up here. Look, it is against our law for your disciples to do that on the Sabbath. Have you never read what David did that time when he needed something to eat? He and his men were hungry, so he went into the house of God and ate the bread offered to God. This happened when Abiathar was the high priest. According to our law, only the priest may eat this bread, but David ate it, and even gave it to his men. The Sabbath was made for the good of human beings. They were not made for the Sabbath, for the Son of Man is Lord even of the Sabbath. Let's go north, my friends. Talk to the people between Gennesaret and Magdala. This way. Please, come on. Screwing everything up, man. Jesus and his disciples went away to Lake Galilee, and a large crowd followed him. They had come from Galilee, from Judea, from Jerusalem, from the territory of Idumea, from the territory on the east side of the Jordan, and from the region around the cities of Tyre and Sidon. All these people came to Jesus because they had heard of the things he was doing. The crowd was so large that Jesus told his disciples to get a boat ready for him, so that the people would not crush him. Go, get to the ship before the disciples leave without you. Be careful with the crowd, they love you very much. Oh. Jesus, seeing himself surrounded by the crowd, offered them to go to the other shore of the lake. Head to Gergesia. A teacher of the law came to him. Teacher, I am ready to go with you wherever you go. Foxes have holes and birds have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lie down and rest. Another man who was a disciple said, Sir, first let me go back and bury my father. Follow me and let the dead bury their own dead. Then Jesus went up a hill and called those whom he saw fit. The hill is north of Gergesia. They came to him and he chose 12, whom he named apostles. I have chosen you to be with me. I will also send you out to preach, and you will have authority to drive out demons. Simon, Jesus gave him the name Peter. James and his brother John, the sons of Zebedee, Jesus gave them the names Boanerges, which means men of thunder. Andrew, Philip, Bartholomew, Matthew. Thomas, James, son of Alphaeus, Thaddeus, Simon the Patriot, and Judas Iscariot, who betrayed Jesus. Follow me. Then Jesus went home. Again, such a large crowd gathered that Jesus and his disciples had no time to eat. Go to the house east of Gergesia. Alright. When his family heard about it, they set out to take charge of him because people were saying he's gone mad. Down. Oh. An axe, yes. Some teachers of the law who had come from Jerusalem were saying, "He has Beelzebul in him. It is the chief of the demons who give him the power to drive them out." So Jesus called them to him and spoke to them in parables. "How can Satan drive out Satan? If a country divides itself into groups which fight each other, that country will fall apart. If a family divides itself into groups which fight each other, that family will fall apart. So if Satan's kingdom divides into groups, it cannot last, but will fall apart and come to an end. No one can break into a strong man's house and take away his belongings unless he first ties up the strong man. Then he can plunder his house. I assure you that people can be forgiven all their sins and all the evil things they may say. But whoever says evil things against the Holy Spirit will never be forgiven, because he has committed an eternal sin." Jesus said this because some people were saying, "He has an evil spirit in him." Then Jesus' mother and brothers arrived. They stood outside the house and sent in a message, asking for him. A crowd was sitting around Jesus, and they said to him, "Look, your mother and your brothers and sisters are outside, and they want you." "Who is my mother? Who are my brothers? Look, here are my mother and my brothers. Whoever does what God wants is my brother, my sister, my mother." Jesus traveled throughout Galilee, teaching in the synagogue of each place. He announced the good news of the kingdom and cured people of all kinds of diseases and ailments. Go to Mount something. This way? No. Ah, okay, let's... Okay, I have to go. Did I have to go? Large crowds followed him from Galilee and the 10 towns, from Jerusalem, Judea, and the land on the other side of the Jordan. Yes. All the coins I can get. Jesus saw the crowds and went up a hill, where he sat down. His disciples gathered around him, and he began to teach them. Happy are those who know they are spiritually poor. The kingdom of heaven belongs to them. Happy are those who mourn. God will comfort them. Happy are those who are humble. They will receive what God has promised. Happy are those whose greatest desire is to do what God requires. God will satisfy them fully. Happy are those who are merciful to others. God will be merciful to them. Happy are the pure in heart. They will see God. Happy are those who work for peace. God will call them his children. Happy are those who are persecuted because they do what God requires. The kingdom of heaven belongs to them. Happy are you when people insult you and persecute you and tell you all kinds of evil lies against you, because you are my followers. Be happy and glad, for a great reward is kept for you in heaven. This is how the prophets who lived before you were persecuted. You are like salt for the whole human race. But if salt loses its saltiness, there is no way to make it salty again. It has become worthless, so it is thrown out and people trample on it. Don't let them trample you, or you'll lose your taste. This world needs good Christians. Let's go. You're like light for the whole world. A city built on a hill cannot be hid. No one lights a lamp and puts it under a bowl. Instead, it is put on the lampstand, where it gives light for everyone in the house. In the same way, your light must shine before people, so that they will see the good things you do and praise your Father in heaven. Brightens all lamps. You have 25 seconds. Do not think that I have come to do away with the law of Moses and the teachings of the prophets. I have not come to do away with them, but to make their teachings come true. Remember that as long as heaven and earth last, not the least point nor the smallest detail of the law will be done away with, not until the end of all things. So then, whoever disobeys even the least important of the commandments and teachings others to do the same, will be least in the kingdom of heaven. On the other hand, whoever obeys the law and teaches others to do the same will be great in the kingdom of heaven. I want to be considered great in the heavens. That is why I teach you the 10 commandments. Put the 10 commandments in order. Start with the first one. You'll lose 10 denarii for each mistake. Give us one. I tell you, then, that you will be able to enter the kingdom of heaven only if you are more faithful than the teachers of the law and the Pharisees in doing what God requires. You have heard that people were told in the past, do not commit murder. Anyone who does will be brought to trial. But now I tell you, if you are angry with your brother, you will be brought to trial. If you call your brother you good for nothing, you'll be brought before the council. And if you call your brother a worthless fool, you will be in danger of going to the fire of hell. So if you're about to offer your gift to God at the altar and there you remember that your brother has something against you, leave your gift there in front of the altar. Go out at once and make peace with your brother, and then come back and offer your gift to God. My brother, forgive me. Don't worry, you know we all make mistakes. I forgive you. Are you sure? If someone brings a lawsuit against you and takes you to court, settle the dispute while there is time. Before you get to court, once you are there, you will be turned over to the judge who will hand you over to the police, and you will be put in jail. There you will stay, I tell you, until you pay the last penny of your fine. You have heard that it is said, do not commit adultery. But now I tell you, anyone who looks at a woman and wants to possess her is guilty of committing adultery with her in his heart. So if your right eye causes you to sin, take it out and throw it away. It is much better for you to lose a part of your body than to have your whole body thrown into hell. If your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. It is much better for you to lose one of your limbs than to have your whole body go off to hell. Looking at people with sexual desire is a sin. Whether on the internet or on the street, here is a challenge. Don't look at any woman in the pool. Run. It is also said, anyone who divorces his wife must give her a written notice of divorce. But now I tell you, if a man divorces his wife for any cause other than her unfaithfulness, then he is guilty of making her commit adultery if she marries again. You disgust me. I ask for separation. Jeez. Does anyone want to marry me? And the man who marries her commits adultery also. Will you marry me? No. Congratulations, you have understood the effort that love requires. You have also heard that people were told in the past, do not break your promise, but do what you have vowed to the Lord to do. But now I tell you, do not use any vow when you make a promise. Do not swear by heaven, for it is God's throne, nor by earth, for it is the resting place of his feet. nor by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. Do not swear by your head, because you cannot make a single hair white or black. Just say yes or no. Anything else you say comes from the evil one. You have heard that it was said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Enemies are coming to hurt you. What do you think your answer should be? But now I tell you, do not take revenge on someone who wrongs you. If anyone slaps you on the right cheek, let him slap your left cheek too. I think I'm not acting according to Jesus' will. In truth, every time I hurt someone, I lose peace in my heart. And if someone takes you to court to sue you for your shirt, let him have your coat as well. And if one of the occupation troops forces you to carry his pack 1 mile, carry it 2 miles. When someone asks you for something, give it to him. When someone wants to borrow something, lend it to him. Jesus wants us to be perfect and give good things to those who offend us. I don't know if I'm up to it. You have heard that it was said, love your friends, hate your enemies. But now I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, so that you may become the children of your Father in heaven, for he makes his sun to shine on bad and good people alike, and gives rain to those who do good and to those who do evil. Why should God reward you if you love only the people who love you? Even the tax collectors do that. And if you speak only to your friends, have you done anything out of the ordinary? Even the pagans do that. You must be perfect, just as your Father in heaven is perfect. Forgive me, brothers. Jesus had made me understand that violence is not the right option. Make certain you do not perform your religious duties in public so that people will see what you do. If you do these things publicly, you will not have any reward from your Father in heaven. So when you give something to a needy person, do not make a big show of it, as the hypocrites do in the houses of worship and on the streets. They do it so that people will praise them. Look how good I am. I'm going to give money to this woman who needs it. But when you help a needy person, do it in such a way that even your closest friend will not know about it. Then it will be a private matter. And your Father who sees what you do in private will reward you. Buy some bread for someone in need. Can you give me a piece of bread? Okay. When you pray, do not be like the hypocrites. They love to stand up and pray in the houses of worship and on the street corners, so that everyone will see them. I assure you they have already been paid in full. But when you pray, go to your room, close the door, and pray to your Father, who is unseen. And your Father who sees what you do in private will reward you. When you pray, do not use a lot of meaningless words, as the pagans do, who think that their gods will hear them because their prayers are long. Do not be like them. Your Father already knows what you need before you ask him. This, then, is how you should pray. Our Father in heaven, may your holy name be honored. May your kingdom come. May your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today the food we need. Forgive us the wrongs we have done, as we forgive the wrongs that others have done to us. Do not bring us to hard testing, but keep us safe from the evil one. If you forgive others the wrongs they have done to you, your Father in heaven will forgive you, or will also forgive you. But if you do not forgive others, then your Father will not forgive the wrongs you have done. And when you fast, do not put on a sad face as the hypocrites do. They neglect your appearance so that everyone will see that they are fasting. Among those who are listening to Jesus, there is a sorry man who is fasting. Find him. Yeah, I saw him earlier. Over here. When you go without food, wash your face and comb your hair so that others cannot know that you are fasting. Only your Father who is unseen will know. And your Father who sees what you do in private will reward you. Jesus, you haven't finished the sermon of the Beatitudes yet. Go back up the mount. Oh, I really like the music here, man. It is really good. Do not store up riches for yourselves here on earth, where moths and rust destroy, and robbers break in and steal. Instead, store up riches for yourselves in heaven, where moths and rust cannot destroy, and robbers cannot break in and steal, for your heart will always be where your riches are. Collect the riches of the earth and take them to heaven. Okay. Open the chest as many times as chests you have? Okay. The eyes are like a lamp for the body. If your eyes are sound, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eyes are no good, your body will be darkness. So if the light in you is darkness, how terribly dark it will be. You cannot be a slave of two masters. You will hate one and love the other. You will be loyal to one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. Don't fall into the temptation of money. If the devil touches you, you will have lost. You will have lost. I'll try. I am the path of happiness and love. You have chosen well. Now come and go to my father, to my son's next lesson. So the Godfather talking to Godfather. Be careful with the temptation of money. This is why I tell you, do not be worried about the food and drink you need in order to stay alive, or about clothes for your body. After all, isn't life worth more than food? And isn't the body worth more than clothes? Look at the birds. They do not plant seeds, gather a harvest, and put it in barns. Yet your Father in heaven takes care of them. Pick the fruit that God the Father gives to the birds to take care of them, but be careful not to get eaten by owls. Alright, I'm gonna save it here because last time I died here and I did not know that I would have to go all the way back. Oh, like right now. You have not achieved the objective. Yes. Do not judge others, so that God will not judge you. For God will judge you in the same way you judge others, and He will apply to you the same rules you apply to others. Why then do you look at the speck in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the log in your own eye? How dare you say to your brother, please let me take that speck out of your eye, when you have a log in your own eye? You hypocrite, first take the log out of your own eye, and then you will be able to see clearly to take the speck out of your brother's eye. Sister, have you seen the straw in front of your eyes? Let me get the speck out of your eye. Why do you mess with me and do not notice the trunk that you have in yours? You hypocrite, first take the log out of your own eye, and then you will be able to see clearly to take the speck out of your brother's eye. Do not give what is holy to dogs. They will only turn and attack you. Do not throw your pearls in front of pigs. They will only trample them underfoot. Ask and you will receive. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be open to you. For everyone who asks will receive. Mom, give me a piece of bread, please. Oh, I'm a seafood too. Sure, son. Mom, can you give me some seafood, please? Sure, son. Do for others what you want them to do for you. This is the meaning of the law of Moses and of the teachings of the prophets. Be on your guard against false prophets. They come to you looking like sheep on the outside, but on the inside they are really like wild wolves. You will know them by what they do. Thorn bushes do not bear grapes, and briars do not bear figs. A healthy tree bears good fruit, but a poor tree bears bad fruit. A healthy tree cannot bear bad fruit, and a poor tree cannot bear good fruit. Gather good fruit from good trees, but beware of false prophets. They are actually wolves. Let me save here again too. Oh no! That's enough, right? I don't need to gather any more. Get in the queue. Next. Lord, Lord, in your name we spoke God's message. By your name we drove out many demons and performed many miracles. I never knew you. Get away from me, you wicked people. So then, anyone who hears these words of mine and obeys them is like a wise man who builds his house on rock. The rain poured down, the rivers flooded over, and the wind blew hard against that house, but it did not fall, because it was built on rock. But anyone who hears these words of mine and does not obey them is like a foolish man who built his house on sand. The rain poured down, the rivers flooded over, the wind blew hard against that house, and it fell. And what a terrible fall that was. When Jesus finished saying these things, the crowd was amazed at the way he taught. He wasn't like the teachers of the law. Instead, he taught with authority. Head to Capernaum. That was an awesome lesson right there. So I must go to Capernaum. A Roman officer there had a servant who was very dear to him. The man was sick and about to die. This man really deserves your help. He loves our people and he himself built a synagogue for us. I'll go. Sir, don't trouble yourself. I do not deserve to have you come into my house. Neither do I consider myself worthy to come to you in person. Just give the order and my servant will get well. I, too, am a man placed under the authority of superior officers. And I have soldiers under me. I ordered this one, go, and he goes. I order that one, come, and he comes. I tell you, I have never found faith like this, not even in Israel. Go home and let it be done as you believed. At that very moment, the servant was healed. After this, Jesus went to Tiberias. You will have to go by ship. Get on the ship and go to Tiberias by sea. Over here. Tiberias. Jesus went back across to the other side of the lake. There, at the lake side, a large crowd gathered around him. Jairus, an official of the local synagogue, arrived, and when he saw Jesus, he threw himself down at his feet and begged him earnestly. My little daughter is very sick. Please come and place your hands on her so that she will get well and live. Then Jesus started off with him. So many people were going along with Jesus that they were crowding him from every side. There was a woman who had suffered terribly from severe bleeding for 12 years, even though she had been treated by many doctors. She had spent all her money, but instead of getting better, she got worse all the time. She had heard about Jesus, so she came in the crowd behind him, saying to herself, "If I just touch his clothes, I will get well." Who touched my clothes? You see how the people are crowding you? Why do you ask who touched you? It was me, Jesus. I was sick and I wanted to be healed. My daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace and be healed of your trouble. While Jesus was saying this, some messengers came from Jairus' house and told him, "Your daughter has died. Why bother the teacher any longer?" Jesus paid no attention to what they said, but told him, "Don't be afraid, only believe." Then he did not let anyone else go on with him except Peter and James and his brother John. Go to the house of the head of the synagogue. Oh, where is this house? You're late. My daughter is already dead. Do not be afraid. Only believe. Why all this confusion? Why are you crying? The child is not dead. She is only sleeping. They started making fun of him, so he put them all out. Took the child's father and mother and his 3 disciples and went into the room where the child was lying. Take some money. Talitha, come. Which means, little girl, I tell you to get up. Miracle, I'm alive. Oh, I thought there was gonna be dialogue here. Oh wait, do I speak to her? Uh-oh. Oh, alright. Go outside. After this, Jesus went to a town called Nain. He was accompanied by his disciples and many other people. Alright, you guys, I'm going to end it right here. If you made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for having patience with me. And thank you for being there during this difficult time that I have editing these videos. Because things don't always go as planned. And I get stressed out and I feel like giving up. But I know there's a way. There's always a way. There's always a problem that can be solved. So I want to leave you guys with that. And I'll continue in the next playthrough. And remember, Jesus loves you.